On your knee? Okay, get over to the Facebook. Hi everyone, it's Lisa Ruble from Quilty Zest, and I'm here tonight with my son Jojo, and we're going to show you how to make a mini Halloween garland. But we're going to wait a couple minutes to get started to let some more people join in. And so while we're waiting, I'm just going to tell you about a couple other Halloween things that I've made and that Jojo and I have made. First, if we both duck our heads out of the way, these are my Strippy Improv Halloween quilts. And this is a reverse applique technique that uses heat and bond light to add the background on top of the strips for the ghost, the cat, the pumpkin, the witch's hat. And my Strippy Improv Halloween pattern has 9 different blocks that you can make into really cute 4-block wall hangings or table runners. So I put those up as decoration for behind. And then tonight after we're done, I'm going to go put them out and display in our house. And then the other project I wanted to show you was mine and Jojo's t-shirts. This is a project that we did on Thermoweb's blog last Halloween, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yep, last Halloween. And so mine is Candy Corns and yours are?
Spooky Eyes.
Spooky Eyes. And it uses fusible adhesive as well to put, this is actually cut out fabric from other t-shirts.
Yeah.
Which just works well on the t-shirt fabric. So we've both got our Halloween shirts on for tonight to get us in the spooky mood. Oh, hi to Dawn and hi to Carletta. Thanks for joining us tonight. And so then we were talking about Halloween at our house today because we put up our outdoor Halloween decorations. And now, of course, a week out from Halloween is when we're starting to think about costumes. So, Jojo, have you decided what you're going to be tonight?
I've thought of a couple things, and I'm probably going to end up being a Jedi from Star Wars.
Awesome. We just need to get you a lightsaber, right?
Yeah.
And Jojo's other 2 brothers are both going to be blow-up dinosaurs. So, Benji, the 10-year-old who you've maybe seen on the lives before, he has a dinosaur costume he wore last year, and he puts on every once in a while. And he actually photobombed a quilt photo shoot I did 2 weeks ago. And so he's going to wear that. And then my older son got a dinosaur costume that just came today. So we'll have 2 dinosaurs and a Jedi in our family. So it's nice. I have other years I have made costumes, and it's really nice that I don't have to stress out about making costumes in this last week. So oh, Dawn loves our shirts. Yes, thank you. We do too. So I had mine on a couple weeks ago when I taught a Strippy Improv class because I wanted to be in the Halloween mood. And are you going to wear yours to school?
Probably at some point.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. So great. Well, now that we've got a couple more people joined, we're going to talk a little bit about the project that we're doing tonight. This is a no-sew project that goes together really quickly. Jojo actually made one in the last, 15 minutes or so, just for one more practice before our live. So I'm going to show you, we are going to show you how to make these tonight. And we have 4 different shapes, which I used mini clothespins with to turn it into just a little Halloween garland. And you obviously can make more than 4. You can make multiples of each of these shapes and then find a place to hang it. But the appeal of this project, because like I said, we are just a week out from Halloween, is that you can get it done and be able to show it off this year because it goes together so quickly. Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about what we're going to use for this project. So for each, first of all, on the blog, is a link for the PDF to print out these templates. And so these are the 4 templates that we'll be using for this project. So when you want to make this, head over to Thermoweb's blog, look for the mini Halloween garland post, and you can find these templates to print. Hi, Evelyn. Thanks for joining us. And then the other product we're going to use, and I have used mine, so I've got just the containers from them to show you so you can see what they look like, are these Ultra Hold tapes. Yep, Jojo, you want to hold those up?
2 rolls.
Yep, so we have a dark fabric one, which is right here, and if you unroll it a bit, you can show how it is dark. And I use that with the black fabrics. And then just the regular Ultra Hold is white or clear, I guess, like more like the sheets of it. So, hi Barbara, thanks for joining us. So I used these two products, and I think they also are probably pretty great for if you're needing to do a quick hem on pants. But they were just the right size for this, and these come in both 5/8 inch wide and 3/8 inch wide. I happen to have 5/8 for the dark and 3/8 for the white or for the light, but either width works. It just depends on which one you happen to have. Hi, Bonnie. Nice to see you. Hi, Debbie. All right. We got a bunch of people coming in. The other option you can do if you don't want to use your iron is you can use this peel and stick fabric fuse. And
you have the roll here.
Yeah, it's a permanent adhesive, and it works just like double-sided tape, but meant for use with fabric, as opposed to like Scotch tape that is does not work real well with fabric. So if you don't want to mess with the iron, you can do the same technique that we are doing tonight, just using this peel and stick fabric fuse. So keep that in mind if you would prefer that. Hi, Lindy. Nice to see you tonight. So and then the last product we're going to use is the fabric stiffener. Now this was the first time that I had actually used this fabric stiffener, and it really does a nice job. This is just 2 layers of fabric, and you can see it's not, I can bend it, but it's not super floppy. So I was really excited to see how this works. It also adds a little shine to the pieces, which is kind of fun as well. So we'll be using that at the end. Oh, and I'm just kidding, one more. We also used pressing paper, especially with the fabric stiffener, because this is a bit messier. And so pressing paper can protect your iron while you're doing projects like this. All right, and then we need 5-inch squares of a backing fabric. I just used a plain white fabric. Hi, Megan. Got another one joining in. Fantastic. I just used plain white because since we're using this as a garland, no one's going to see the back. So I just used a plain white fabric for the back. So for each piece, you're going to need a 5-inch square. And then scraps of fabric in the colors that you want. We've got where did the garland go?
I don't know.
I lost the garland. Well, we've got the pumpkin, the candy corn, the ghost, and the bat. So our fabric is black, white, yellow, orange, and a tiny bit of green for the stem.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay, we'll pull this back over. So I've got fabric scraps in these colors that I cut into pieces. So in terms of the size of pieces to cut, with the 3/8 inch wide tape, I cut the pieces to about a 1/2 inch wide because I wanted a little overlap, which Jojo will show you in a second, so you don't have to worry about the tape being on your fabric. And then for the 5/8 inch wide, I cut it to 3/4 inch. So you can see here's the 3/4 inch pieces and the 3/8 inch pieces. So now we're going to switch to the overhead view so you can see down. Thanks, Jojo. I'm going to take this one. Okay, so Jojo's going to show us how we put the fusible onto the wrong side of these strips.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna first want to press the strips a little bit. This is a tip my mom learned accidentally very recently. And that way, when you put the fabric strips on, they stick a little bit because it likes to roll back up. And this way, it won't roll back up while you're trying to stick it to the fabric.
Got the scissors, yeah. So just cutting it a little bit shorter than the length of our strip. And our strips are too long. They only really need to be about 5 inches, but I did these white ones longer because we're going to use them for the candy corns as well. So anywhere between about 5 and 8 inches is a good strip length. Okay, and then take the iron.
Press for...
Great. About 5 or 6 seconds. Because it's such a skinny piece of fusible, it adheres pretty quickly. You can leave it down. Okay, so those are stuck and we'll set them aside. And so we did a lot of the sticking in advance.
Do you want to do these ones too?
Yep, do the black ones too. We did a lot of the getting these strips ready in advance. You can see I'm showing them off to the side while Jojo gets ready, because you didn't need to watch us fuse all 30 of those strips. So we're just doing a couple just to show you the technique. And Jojo did the same thing again, where just by pressing the strips a little bit, it helps the fusible. It sticks just the tiniest bit so that it doesn't roll up. Fantastic. So I originally got this Ultra Hold tape because I had visions of making a spider web out of it on a t-shirt or something, and never got around to doing that, but it worked really well for this project to create a nice little no-sew project. Oh, Megan's asking about the Halloween quilts behind. Yep, these are my Strippy Improv Halloween quilts. And I've made one each of the last, I think, 3 or 4 years. So I've got quite a collection now. And it's a technique kind of along the lines of this one. All right, great. You've got that done. Okay, so then what do we do with the template? Which you did already.
I did already, but you trace the shapes onto the squares of white fabric. And this is actually backwards because I did it on the back of a cutout piece. And then once you've done that, you'll take the fabric with the fusible applied on the back, and I'm actually going to cut this one a little bit shorter because you don't need it this long.
Yep, and then we'll save that for the candy cane.
And then, actually, I can use this piece for here because it's the tail.
Okay.
But you want to start at the bottom. You'll take off the fusible.
The paper from the
fusible.
fusible.
From the fusible, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get it, there we go. And then fuse it on.
Great. And we're going to overlap these strips a little bit, partly so the background doesn't show through, and then partly just to create that layered look for our different shapes. So the ghost one's a little hard to see because we're doing white on white, but you get the idea of it. And when I chose fabrics for this, I went with a bunch of low volume prints. I've got some that are white on white and some that have little gray designs on it, because I just really think it adds a little interest to it because so many white prints all look the same. So by having that low volume, you get a little variety. While Jojo's doing that, you can see the ghost right there. It's got a bunch of different prints in it. Great. And then you can kind of either plan it out in advance, or you can just pick a strip each time you kind of work your way up and choose what to go on. And Jojo and I both started at the bottom for these. You can start bottom or top. I started at the bottom because when I was doing the pumpkin, it just made more sense to work my way up to the stem. Yep, and just keep working your way up. They overlap a bit, and you will have slight little raw edges because, as you can see on these black ones, the fabric extends beyond the tape a little bit, but that's okay. And then when we put the fabric stiffener on, it will cover up those raw edges really nicely. So this is, if you have a kid who you trust with an iron, which Jojo's 13, and he's been using one for, I don't know, what, about 5 years now?
I think it's been maybe 6.
6? I trust him with an iron. So this is a fun project to do with a kid like this. If you don't trust the kid with the iron, or don't trust them to not stick their hand in while you're ironing, that's when using the non-ironing approach, with the peel and stick fabric fuse is an option as well, because you don't have to worry about burning anyone's fingers. Bonnie asked about the candy corns on my shirt. So it's fused on first, and then I went around and just stitched each candy corn down to hold it in place And then also because it is raw edge, that just makes sure that it doesn't unravel too much. So it is a combination of fusing and of sewing. And if you missed it at the beginning, both JoJo's and my shirts were featured in a tutorial on the ThermoWeb blog last October. So you can go back and find that. And I bet Dawn is really great about this kind of thing. I bet she can put the link in the comments so that you can have easy access to it. But another fun Halloween project if you're not into dressing up or just want something a little more subtle. So, yeah, Megan says the ghost looks easy. What do you think?
Yeah, probably one of the easier ones. I'd say the bat is probably the hardest.
How come?
Just all the sharper edges and odd shapes.
Just need to make sure you have it more covered. So, fantastic. Here's another white one.
Yeah.
And one here. And then we've got two more here that you can go with. So, fantastic. So when you're doing a project like this, it's good to have a garbage can nearby because you're going to be throwing away lots of little fabric strips. And it makes a mess on your surface really quickly. How many more do we have to do? Well, just a couple. Fantastic. So while JoJo's finishing that, I'm going to talk a bit about the tracing of the shapes. So after he's done with that, what we're going to do is cut around with pinking shears because that gives us a nice finished edge on those shapes. Oh, thank you, Dawn. She put up the link for the Spooktacular t-shirts that we're wearing. And so with some of the shapes, depending on how you drew your pencil line on, when you turn it over, you can see the line through enough to cut. If you can't, what JoJo did is he cut out the templates, and then once he had all the fabric strips on, he set the template on the back side and traced it so he had a cutting line to work with. The other thing you can do if you have a fabric marking pen that you trust is you can use that because a lot of times they'll show through something thin like this white muslin, and you'll be able to see the line through that. I can tell you from experience that the one shape that doesn't work for is the bat because the black fabric completely covers up the line. But if you do have a brightly colored fabric marking pen, just be careful using it on the ghost because with all these white fabrics, sometimes that line will show through. So that's why you always have the option to cut out the shape and trace it on the back. The reason we trace it on the front is so that you know how far your strips need to cover. If you look at how JoJo's doing this, you can see at the top and the bottom, he used shorter strips because we have much less ghost to cover at the top and the bottom. All right. Nice job. Okay, want to pick it up and give it the test, see if everything sticks? Fantastic. Yeah, it is hot. It is hot, so, okay.
Nice.
So we're going to put that on the back side, though, because then your pencil lines don't show.
Oh, I can actually see.
Yep. And here's the pencil.
Take the pencil.
So trace around, and like he said, he can actually see through the white to see his original tracing shape. So if you can do that, you don't need to trace it a second time. It just depends on how well your line shows through. And if you wanted to, you could use a fun Halloween fabric on the back. Like I said, because I'm using it as Garland, I opted not to because no one would see the back, but you absolutely could use a fun Halloween fabric instead. So now JoJo's going to cut it out. Here, slide up a little. There you go. There you go. It's going to cut it out with the pinking shears. You're going through a couple layers, so it's a little trickier than with the regular scissors, but it's got just a really nice edge to it. Then a little decorative edge. You don't have to worry about fraying at all either. So once we've got the ones done that we're going to make tonight, we'll have 8 of these. And I really want to make a whole long garland piece instead of just my 4 and hang these maybe in the kitchen over the sink because I think it would be really cute to do that. And still have a week to enjoy them before Halloween. Nice. Good job, Jojo. Okay, so what we're going to do instead of going through the whole process with the second one, we're going to lay out, I'm going to let Jojo lay out the yellow and orange pieces just to give you a feel of what it'll look like. You want to talk about the lines, why there's lines on the template?
Yeah, so I drew the lines on the template just so I'd have approximate proportions. Because if you look at a regular or an actual candy corn, the yellow and white are a lot smaller than the orange section. So this way I know almost exactly where I need to lay out all the different colors. So it looks like a regular candy corn.
And then sometimes you get candy corns where like the white is cut
chocolate.
off. Or or the chocolate ones, yeah.
Chocolate one where there's no white and there's brown at the bottom. So it all depends on what kind of candy corn you have.
So have to cut some of those a little bit shorter, yes. And I saw that Dawn mentioned it a couple times in the comments, but I will say it on camera as well. There's a drawing for a ThermoWeb gift certificate, so make sure you leave a comment if you're watching so that you can be entered to win that. Great. So, so Jojo's got those laid out with the three different colors. And then if we were actually going to fuse these down, actually, you know what you could do is you can actually peel them all off and fuse them at once if you wanted to. But we would probably trim them a little bit because they're extending pretty far beyond. So I will help you pull these off, and then you can put them in place. How's that sound?
All right.
So I have to ask because I've done a couple projects with candy canes between the t-shirt I'm wearing and then the Strippy Improv block behind and then these. And I admit that every time that I'm doing a candy corn project, I have to Google candy corn because I second guess myself about the order of colors. So I want to know if I'm the only one, if other people have the order memorized, or if you'd have to Google it too. So if you would, leave a comment letting me know if you have the color order memorized or if you'd have to look it up to make sure it was in the right order.
All at once.
Yeah. What about you, Jojo? Do you know the color order?
During fall and Halloween, I usually have it memorized just because I see it often, but if you ask me, like, say around Easter, I might be able to, but chances are probably not.
And we had a bowl full of the candy corns and the pumpkins, and it lasted, I think, less than a week. Jojo, who did you catch eating one for breakfast this morning?
Ben.
Yeah, my 10-year-old was eating one for breakfast. Bonnie and Debbie and Dawn. Oh, good. I'm glad that I'm not alone in not remembering the order of the candy canes. Candy corn colors. So, fantastic. Yep. So, yeah, this is the sort of the shortcut method is that you can, take the papers off all of them and just lay them out and fuse them all at once. So you've kind of seen the slow and careful method and the shortcut method. Great. Do you want to cut this one out as well?
Yeah, I can see the line, so I'm just going to cut.
Just going to cut it out. And like I said before, the reason we draw the shape on the back for the cutting is so that you don't end up with any errant pencil lines showing through your cutting. Or if you have a fabric marking pen that you trust to come out. I've had hit or miss luck with fabric marking pens, so I tend to use a pencil. Dawn says those pumpkins are her favorite.
They're pretty good.
They are pretty good. Nice little sugar high, too. I think I need to go back and get us another pack. Great. All right. So we're going to move on to the fabric stiffener part of the process.
It's like this, the ghost, and my pumpkin.
Your pumpkin. Earlier. We've got 3 to fabric stiffen, so we're going to back the iron up. We're going to spread. So I will say, as much as I like this fabric stiffener, it can be a little messy. And so I originally just had pressing paper beneath it, but I'm trying it. I'm doing the cardboard instead just to provide a little more protection for my ironing surface. So, Carletta says it's her son's favorite, so she has the colors memorized. That's good. So you are all set for this project. So we're going to shake this first. Yes. And you are supposed to hold it about 8 to 10 inches away. Yep, so stand up. And you want to get them damp. So a little farther away. Oh, you know what? I have two, and maybe that's the new one that hasn't gotten the stuff worked up the pump yet. There we go. Yep. Nice. And if it doesn't get as stiff as you would like on the first spraying, after you dry it, after it dries, you can do it a second time. Okay, great.
So now we're gonna get a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. There we go. And you can see it's curling a little bit. We'll just press that down as we do it. Okay. So now the pressing paper goes shiny side down. And then you're going to have to do it in 3 different spots. Okay. So you just do that until it feels, well, till it feels like it's dry, till it looks like it's dry. Let's take a peek. Yep, that's good. Okay, so move on to one of the next ones. And I did find when I did this the other day, yes, and Dawn says make sure you spray it really, really well. And that is true, because the first time I did not, and it came out a little bit, or spray it, shake it. Shake it well. The first time I tried it, I did not shake it enough, and it came out a little bit gloppy. So it was much better result this time. You did a good job shaking it. So I did find, though, that sometimes it's the pressing paper doesn't want to peel off the fabric super well while it's still hot. So you may want to wait until these pieces cool to peel the pressing paper off, because it will kind of tug at the fabric a little bit. But once it cools, it pops right off. And you have to make sure you shake the fabric. Yep. And then if it is not as stiff as you want, or if you have some little strips that are kind of hanging up a little bit, you can just absolutely do it a second time, and it will get more stiff each time that you do it. And that's how we make these projects. All right, let's switch over to the front camera so you can see us again. Hello. So just to do a little recap, since I've undone a bunch of these. So the mini garland that we made tonight has
a bat. Oh, dropped it. Bat, ghost, candy corn, and a pumpkin.
And the PDF with the templates for all 4 of these projects are on the ThermoWeb blog with the blog post about this project. And if you're watching this live, Dawn put a link in the comments for that post, as well as the post for the t-shirts that we're wearing. And so we've showed you how to use 2 different products, both the Ultra Hold and then the non-iron fabric fuse, to attach little strips of fabric to your template shapes, and then cut them out with the pinking shears. And then the final step is
fabric stiffener,
and then iron it to help the stiffener dry more quickly. So that's our project for tonight. Thanks for joining me and doing this with me. It was a lot of fun. And I think then Dawn is going to pick a winner from the comments that were left. And let's see if there's any other comments. I've been trying to keep up with them. If there's anything. Oh, Megan says she sends pumpkins to her sister-in-law in Ireland. Nice. Yeah, I knew someone in Florida who would get a box of colored leaves from a relative in Michigan every year, because living in Florida, they missed having all the leaves change and all that beautiful color. So
getting ready to pull a winner.
All right.
Here we go.
Well, thank you so much to everyone who came and watched this tonight. And if you're watching the replay on YouTube, thank you for that as well. Hopefully you give this project a try, because it's a lot of fun, pretty easy to do, and so lots of fun to have some help on it, so I'm not the only one doing the talking.
Yep, of course.
But all right, let's see who our winner is. Oh, and while Dawn's pulling the winner, this was my other topic that I was going to use at the beginning while we were waiting for people to join. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on people handing out the full-size candy bars at Halloween. So, for me,
These
when
ones
my
are
kids get them, my husband and I take them because we figure they don't need all that sugar at once. So we confiscate them and then eat them ourselves.
we
But
usually find the stash and take one or two.
but are you team full size candy bar or team mini candy bars? I mean, it's kind of funny because we often when we hand out little ones, we hand out several. So I
Right.
suppose it's the same as a big one.
And honestly, I prefer the little ones because they're easy to just like take a piece when nobody's looking, and yeah,
That is true. That
and
is
it's
true.
easier to fit in lunchboxes and stuff if you want to take them to school as
Yeah,
well.
the candy sneaking. So, oh, we have a winner. Congratulations, Lindy. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I hope that you have a happy Halloween and get to either wear a Halloween t shirt or put up some Halloween decor. And we'll see you again here. I'll be back in November for another Facebook Live. All right. We have a bunch of team minis. Fantastic. I'm not the only one. So.
Several other ones. Yep. I agree.
All right. Great. Well, thank you and have a good night.
Bye.